The reason we are looking at a book that talks about the mind or focuses on the mind after working on a book on the mind is because I want us to just flow. So if you have watched my previous video on the power of the mind, then I would say that this video is a good follow-up for that. So in this particular video, I'm going to talk about Joe Dispenza's book, not becoming supernatural, you are the placebo. So the book starts off with a couple of examples and stories of people who had medical conditions. I mean, severe, very severe medical conditions. And in most of those cases, they were told by their physicians, by their doctors, that they were placebos. Placebos are medications, injections, procedures that lead to wellness of a patient. So these patients are told by their physicians that there are placebos that they can take that have a track record of success, that if they take those placebos, they are going to be better, they are going to be fine. And in excitement, joy, and an amazing level of emotions, they take these placebos knowing fully well that they are going to be fine because of the track records of these placebos. And exactly that happens. They take the placebos and they are fine. And then later they get to find out that these placebos were not actually real. They were just pills. They were just pills, probably mineral pills that were given to them. And the striking thing here is that, real or not, the placebos, the fake placebos worked and these people were healed. So what do you think actually caused the healing of these people? Was it actually the fake placebos, or was there just something inside of them that healed them? So this particular book is amazing. It's one of the books that have changed my life. A brother of this book, I call it the brother because it's written, the other book is written by the same writer, Becoming Supernatural. So I read it last year. That was where my journey of transformation started, after I had watched the tape by Joshua Selman, and I was propelled to want to move further into the whole transformation of the mind thing. So yeah, so that's what this book is about. And it begs that there is something out inside of you that is more of a placebo than the placebos, the pills that you can take or that the patient takes and is well. The writer, in other words, used these stories to tell us, these real life stories to tell us that inside of every single human is a placebo. And actually you are the placebo. And that's where the title of the book comes from. You are the placebo. The big question here is, how do you start the whole process of transformation according to Dr. Joe Dispenza's book? It starts with you, first of all, getting to a point where you do not want to continue living the way you have been living. If you have an illness, if you have a thought pattern that is bizarre and you want to change your life by changing, then you start from there. And then according to the book, you have a clear intention. When I started reading Becoming Supernatural, the brother book of this one last year, what I did is I wanted to create something in my life. So my clear intention was to move out of my rented apartment with my sister and rent my own apartment. So literally, I was sponsored last year by my family, my older sister, and then that was my clear intention. I wanted to be independent because I really love the whole concept of independence. So I told myself, this is my clear intention, moving out of my house. And the next thing you have to do is you have to match your clear intention or intentions. Anyways, we have to start with one. Your clear intention with with an emotion, with a steaming emotion. So you match your clear intention with a steaming emotion, put them together, sit yourself down, and just rehearse yourself in that position, becoming that person that you want to become. So what I used to do is, this is a very practical book. This is not a book that you just read past. You read and you practice exactly what you are reading, because he has meditations in the book. So you are reading and you're meditating and you're following the steps that he advises that you take. So I would sit down. There's a posture that you take. I can't explain all of that right now. Maybe if you read the book, if you just pick up the book and read, you're going to get all the details. So you sit down in a particular position. You mustn't necessarily sit in that position, but according to his experience and all, it's advisable. Biologically, it is advisable. You take in some breaths and all of that. I can't explain all of that right now. So you sit, you do all of that, and then you rehearse. So I would sit and I would think of myself going for house hunting and choosing a house. I did not have a kobo. That's just the truth about it. So this whole thing is just like having faith. In fact, it is literally having faith. So I would sit and I will think of myself going out for house hunting here in Buea, in the location that I wanted, because you don't want to go for something that you don't want. And I will move from room to room. I will move into my ideal room, and then I will look around. I would imagine myself buying furniture and all of that and putting it into my house. I did that every single day, but sometimes I couldn't, because it's not as easy as you think. It could be it's time consuming. And you're just fighting. Most of the time you're fighting yourself from doing it, because your old self really is not used to who you want to become or what you're manifesting. So yeah, it's like I said in the previous review I did on the power of your mind, you have to try to quiet your soul. And quieting your soul is not so easy, because you would want to jump up and maybe grab a cup of water or food or attend to your phone and all of that. But you have to lay all of that aside, sit down, rehearse, and do that over and over again. And every time you are rehearsing what you want to see or who you want to become or what you're creating, you will have to make sure you do that with a steaming emotion. Like mine was gratitude. The highest emotion that you would want to make use of is gratitude, because every time you're grateful for something, it's a sign that you have received something already. So every time I would rehearse, I will be grateful. I would be as excited as if it has already happened, because that's what you're literally doing. You are creating what you want. It's a practice that helps you to become the better version of yourself. The truth is that everything you're looking for exists in another world. It exists in the quantum field. You just need to reach out. You just need to reach out, like the illustration we had from the beginning of this video with the bowl in the kitchen, you reaching out and picking up things that you never knew existed. All of these things exist in the quantum field. I've heard people say stuff like, what you are looking for is also looking for you, but not this version of you. The better, the redefined version of you, the better version of you that can accept and can handle what you're looking for. So it's exactly the same thing here, that you want to become something, but you have to create it yourself. Like, this book doesn't talk anything about the Bible, all right? It doesn't talk about the Bible, but by implication, I just feel that everything that he explains in his book is just very similar to my Christian faith, because it talks about faith. It talks about the fact that what you're looking for is somewhere, like it's in another world. And it just reminds me of the fact that the Bible says what we see, what is seen, was created from the unseen. So it's just exactly the same thing. And it tells you that you're a creator, and that's who God has made us be. We are creative beings. He created the heavens and the earth, and he has given us the mandate or the commission to create as well. He made us in his likeness, he made us in his image, and we have the ability to create. There is just so much that you're creating. My biggest fear about the whole of this thing is creation is not just for positive things, like I have explained. A lot of people have been creating terrible things for themselves, like I said in my previous video about worry. So every time you're worrying about your child not making it, you're actually not doing the right thing for that child, because since thoughts are what you are firing and wiring in your mind to, you're rehearsing what you want to be, then it begs that child will definitely toe that same line. So every time you're worrying, trust me, you're not helping the situation at all. Why don't you just talk to someone about it? I talk to God about it instead of worrying. So this book has helped me not to worry. It has helped me to not live in survival mode. So the book talks a lot about survival mode. The analogy is, if you are being followed by a dog or a lion, then your body would generate, I don't know much about scientific words, I don't know what to use here. Your body will generate, your system generates genes or whatever that will want to fight that will want to bring out the strength in you to fight that dog or fight that thing, that whatever it is, it must not be a dog that is coming at you. So it's a mechanism that your body brings forth so that you handle the attack, which is okay. But if you live in that place for more than that period of time, then there is a problem, because normally your body brings up that mechanism just for a few seconds or minutes, and immediately that issue is tackled, then you go back to your normal state of being. Unfortunately, some people live in that state. Some people are always trying to fight something, trying to resist something, and the body keeps producing what the body would need for that season to fight that thing, and the body cannot keep channeling all its resources for that, because normally the body has other things to tackle. Like I said before, I do not know the biological terms to use appropriate for this, but I'm trying my best, okay? So please just follow through. So the body is trying to build up whatever it has to build up to fight that, and as long as the body keeps doing that, your body will break down. That's where the issue of illness comes in, and that's why most of his workshops, the writers' workshops and experiences of this sort, are with people who have diseases, and then they cure themselves just by getting back to their normal way of being and not living in survival mode. So yeah, when your body is channeling all its resources in one direction and not focusing on the repairs of your body, blood flow and every other thing, truth is your body will start breaking down, and that is when people start getting sick. Lots of people have become sick and died, not because they actually had illnesses, but the illnesses actually were developed from stuff like this. So when I was growing up and I used to hear this issue of being transformed by the renewing of your mind, or the fact that as you think that a man is what he thinks, I didn't understand. They were just, a lot of these things were just theories to me, but I have read books and they have educated me on what actually this really is about. Like biologically, he explains it, chemically, he explains everything that you need to know, even with the help of diagrams, showing you, illustrating how the whole thing happens in your brain, the connection with your brain, your mind, your thoughts, all of that put together. He explains it in the book, You Are the Placebo. You are your healer. You, inside of you lies the potential to be who you want to be. So you just need to reach in and you pick up, you find. And every time, it's just so miraculous how you get to find new things. When you reach out into you, into who you really are, you become different. And that's the whole essence of this thing, becoming someone completely different. So by the end of December, I was able to go for my house hunt actually now, and by January I moved into my new place. January this year I moved into my new place, so I actually created what I wanted to see. You ask me how it happens, you can't explain. The truth is, what is a bit limiting, I don't know if I should say limiting about this, is you can't actually tell when exactly what you want to create will happen. You just leave yourself to the book calls it not creation, the book calls it the universe. You just allow yourself to the universe to detect when it will show up in your life. So mine came through for me in the month of January, where I finally got my place, and yeah, I manifested a house from nowhere. So the universe, according to this book, the universe has a way of attracting what you need to you. You just need to think. So once you start thinking these things and picking them up from the quantum field, the universe attracts them to you somehow. The money will show up. In fact, when you start meditating, new things are happening. You just start meeting new people, and new things just keep happening to you. That's just how the whole thing works. I'm sure people might have mixed feelings about books like this that do not categorically state that, especially Christians, that this is a biblical way of creating stuff and all. But I really likened it to the whole issue of faith, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, because you literally are creating something from nowhere to exist in your reality and in your life. Aside from creating material things, you create a better version of yourself. I became more happy. I became a more happy person, jovial. I usually used to be worked up about a lot of things, especially down to the most minute things, like walking into the house and I was leaving my kid's sister and not seeing things in order and just lashing out and all. It was to an extreme level. I would talk about things, I would just get angry about stuff, but it just stopped. Like, who really cares if everything goes as smooth as it should? Like, why do you stress yourself trying to fix things and trying to always work things out like that? Just let go and let God. Yeah, I became freer. I became more confident in myself just by practicing meditations like that, rehearsing who I want to be. So if you want to be more kind, you rehearse. You take up meditations where you're rehearsing you being more kind, you smiling more, you being a better person. Yeah, so it's an amazing book. I would say this, as I always say, I don't do justice, and I cannot do justice to these books. They are quite voluminous, and there are lots of other things that you would find. I just remembered one more thing that I haven't talked about, but I'm not going to go back to explain that, because I believe that you'll be inspired to want to read this book